Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We were discussing the Salah of Abu Bakr, and in the context of the narrations of Salah of Abu Bakr, Ayesha admits that the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam scolded her and said that you are the companions of Yusuf ala nabina wa alihi wa alayhi salam. Now, this is quite a serious word of reproach and an expression of censure from the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. And we have to look that what would be the justification that the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam would use such an expression of indignation and censure and lack of pleasure with regard to Ayesha, and who are the companions of Yusuf ala nabiyina wa alihi wa alayhi salam. As you know, Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam was a captive, was a slave in Egypt after he was sold as a slave. And then he was sold into house of one of the very senior figures in the Egyptian government, and the wife of that person was interested in Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam in a very bad manner. So the companions of Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam, the hadith is female. Sawahibu Yusuf, Sawahibu Yusuf. Sawahib is the plural of sahib. No, it's not the plural of sahib. Sawahib is the plural of sawahiba, my apologies, sahiba. The plural of sahiba. Female companion. Female ladies who were harassing Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam and who were pestering Yusuf alayhi salam. So sawahib is the plural of sahiba, and in some narration suwayhibatu Yusuf, and with tasghir for belittling and disrespect. In order to belittle and disrespect somebody in Arabic, sometimes you use the term of tasghir, which means to belittle somebody. So these ladies were not ladies of good character. They were women who had some very evil and bad intentions with regard to Yusuf ala nabina wa alihi wa alayhi salam. However, we are going to go through these assertions one by one, inshallah tabaraka wa ta'ala. We will discuss the justification that warrants such an indignation by the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, and such a condemnation and reprimand by the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, that he would say to his wife that you are the companion of Yusuf alayhi salam, the female, by companion means female companion of Yusuf alayhi salam. Let's have a look at the hadith first, and then we are going to have a look at the meaning of this assertion. This is the book of Bukhari, translated by Dr. Muhammad Muhsin Khan, published by Darus Salam in Saudi Arabia. This is volume number 1. Let's have a look at hadith number 664 at page 379. So this is the hadith of Salah of Abu Bakr. Ayesha narrated Al-Aswad, we were with Ayesha discussing the regularity of offering Salah and dignifying it. She said, when Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam fell sick with his fatal illness, and when the time of as-salah became due and adhan was pronounced, he said, tell Abu Bakr to lead the people in salah. He was told that Abu Bakr was a soft-hearted man and would not be able to lead the salah in his place. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave the same order again, but he was given the same reply. He gave the order for the third time and said, "You women are the companions of Yusuf alayhi salam. You women are you." Uh, because the conversation was with Ayesha, so Ayesha is the primary addressee of this sentence, the statements. You are the companions of Yusuf alayhi salam. Tell Abu Bakr to lead Salah. And also in Muslim, and many other occasions in Bukhari too, so I'm being very brief. This is Muslim, translated by Nasruddin al-Khattab, published by Darus Salam, volume number 1, page number 531, hadith number 940. On the authority of Ayesha, let's go to the next page, 532. Let Abu Bakr lead prayer, led the people in prayer. You are like the woman around Yusuf. So, فَإِنَّ كُنَّ, look at the words in Arabic here. فَإِنَّ كُنَّ صَوَاحِبُ يُوسُف. فَإِنَّ كُنَّ صَوَاحِبُ يُوسُف. Verily, for verily. Verily, you are the woman around Yusuf alayhi salam. Important thing is here that there is no word like. You are like. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did not say فَإِنَّ كُنَّ كَسَوَاحِبُ يُوسُف. He said فَإِنَّ كُنَّ سَوَاحِبُ يُوسُف. You are the woman around Yusuf alayhi salam. The meaning, if he had said that you are like the woman around Yusuf, would be that he has said that they are similar to those women. But when he says you are the woman around Yusuf, there is a more similarity, greater similarity, that you are them. Not only you are like them, you are them. So the similarity in emphasis and the simile between using the word like and not using the word like is obvious here, and that's the difference between al-isti'ara and at-tashbih. In isti'ara, we do not use the adat, the words of tashbih. At any rate, that's a point in literature. Now let's ponder who are the women who were around Yusuf alayhi salam and what was their character. This is Al-Quran Al-Kareem, published by Saudi Arabia, translated by Al-Hilali and Muhsin Khan. This is Surah Yusuf alayhi salam. And let's have a look at verse number 7. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لقد كان في يوسف وإخوته آيات للسائلين. Verily, in Yusuf alayhi salam and his brethren, in the story of Yusuf and the events and the life of Yusuf alayhi salam, events of life of Yusuf alayhi salam. What is there? There were ayat. Ayat, they're symbols. There are symbols. Ayah means a symbol, a sign. A sign, a symbol. There are symbols, there are signs, evidence, verses, lessons, revelations, etc. for those who ask. So for those who seek, for those who ponder, for those who think, in the story of Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, there are many, many signs. There are many, many symbols. So one of those is that Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam had many brothers, and his brothers wanted to become a successor of the Nabi alayhi salam, Jacob, right? And what happened? They realized that Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam is to be successor. So they were sons. They were not only companions, they were sons of prophets. Sons of Yaqub, and Yaqub is the son of Ishaq, and Ishaq is the son of Ibrahim, alayhim salam. Right? Now, they are coming from a very prominent, from a very sacred household. And there's progeny of a family who are all pious messengers of Allah. And you cannot get more sanctified, more cherished than the sons of Jacob alayhi salam. But these people do what? They know their little brother is innocent and he is going to be the successor of Ibrahim and Ishaq and Yaqub alayhim salam. They beat him up. Then they throw him into a well. They were almost going to kill them, but one of them said, do not kill him because fathers might find out. So they sell him into slavery, and they lie to their father. They lie to who? They lie to the father. They lie. They say, oh, a wolf came and ate him. And other treacherous acts they committed. They lied to their father, and their father became so upset. The father became so upset that he was crying and crying and crying for decades. Not one or 2 years. For decades he was just tormenting. He's being tormented for his separation from his beloved son Yusuf alayhi salam. He cried so much. فَبْيَضَّتْ عَيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْحُزْنِ فَهُوَ كَظِيمٌ. He was so much full of sadness, full of pain, full of agony, and cried so much that he lost his eyesight. Right? He became blind. The Nabi became blind. But the sons don't care. Sons do not care. They don't give a damn. They could have easily said, oh, father, we are sorry. We made a mistake. Your son is alive. Wolf has not eaten him. He might have been, we sold him. The caravan went to Egypt. We are going to go get him. We are going to find him for you. But no, they did not do that. They did not do that. Right? They instead kept watching. So, a very, very, there are signs in the events of life of Yusuf alayhi salam, and symbols, right? Now, these sons of Jacob alayhi salam, they had heard about the miracles of their grandfather Ibrahim alayhi salam, Ishaq alayhi salam. They had seen miracles of their own father, and they were all believers, right? Now compare them to Sahaba. Sahaba were mushrik first, right? Mushrik. Then they became Muslim. Many of them were al-mu'talifatu qulubuhum. Al-mu'talifatu qulubuhum. Some of them, many of them, not some of them, many of them became Muslim because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was very kind and generous. And he would give them money. Those who would become Muslim, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would financially support them. And many of these Sahaba, time and again, they ran away from battles. So when their sincerity to Islam and their devotion to the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was tested, they failed. Battle of Hunayn, Battle of Uhud. These Sahaba ran away, and Quran has mentioned those in Quranic verses. Now, the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam informs them that I'm going to pass away, and they knew the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam one day would pass away. Everybody knew. Quran has said that he will die, and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam never claimed to be eternally in this dunya, in this world. No, he said, I'm not eternal. He said, I'll pass away. So, if these Sahaba are interested in leadership, government, especially now at the end of life of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when it seemed very palpable, when it seemed very obvious that the armies of Muslims can defeat Romans and Persians. They can defeat them. And the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam had informed them, had prophesied that the Romans and Persians will be defeated by Muslims. So so they're looking, what are they looking at? They're looking at the prospect of an empire, an empire that is going to be a superpower, a global superpower, the most dominant force on the planet Earth. So if some Sahaba are interested in order to gain this at any price, we have seen the story of his sons of Yusuf alayhi salam, sons of Yaqub alayhi salam. They were not only Sahaba, no, they were higher than Sahaba. They were children of a prophet and grandchildren of Ishaq and great-grandchildren of a very prominent and respected and illustrious prophet who is Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam. So this assertion that Sahaba would not do such a thing is belied by all these facts and the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. لقد كان في يوسف وإخوته آيات للسائلين. And another ayah or sign and symbol in the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, which is very prominent, is the ghaiba. Al-ghaiba. Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam's occultation. Or that he went away and he was never seen again for decades. And Umar narrated 80 years Yusuf alayhi salam was gone. Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam was thrown into a well by his brothers. And then they pulled him out of the well and they sold him into slavery. And that caravan took him away. After that, nobody has seen Yusuf again. Yusuf, that handsome, that polite, that very, very refined young man, cherished son of Yaqub alayhi salatu wassalam. He knowledgeable, well-spoken, kind. That young man is gone. And nobody knows where he is. And the interesting thing is, his father is a prophet. His father is Yaqub alayhi salam. And Jibreel comes to him. Angels come to him. He received a revelation from Allah. He doesn't know either. Where he does not know where he is. He knows that he's alive. Because he asked Jibreel alayhi salam, is my son alive? He said, yes, he's alive. But he didn't tell him more than that, where he is. And Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam does not try to contact his father either, to send a letter or something. No, he does not. Perhaps he thought his brothers might come and hurt him, or there was another consideration that we do not know. So Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam goes into hiding, ghaiba. All these years, he's a prophet, yes. He's a messenger, yes. He's ma'asum, yes. He's destined to, and he has a duty to lead mankind, yes. Or at least Bani Israel, yes. Yet he goes into ghaiba. And one day, suddenly, then he comes and he becomes the ruler of that entire region. Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. So there's another sign which is very similar to the story of our beloved Imam, Al-Imam al-Hujja alayhi salatu wasalam, salamullah alayhi, the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. So, and if we look into the life of Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, there are many, many other signs and many, many other similarities that are ayatun lis-sa'ilin. As Quran said, these are verily in Yusuf and his brothers and his brethren, there were ayat for those who ask. Now, our purpose of discussion is Sawahibu Yusuf, the women around Yusuf alayhi salam. Who were they? What was their character? The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said to Ayesha, you are the woman, because Ayesha was also with Hafsa. You are the woman around Yusuf alayhi salam. So let's see what is their character. Like they are very well thought, they are very, very intricate, they are very complicated, and they deceive people easily. They're done so well that nobody suspects that they have done something. So that is why their plot is being called great. Not great that they're good. Okay, they're a mighty plot. A mighty plot in a sense that they, in order to reach their objective, they serve their purpose very well. Let's go back to the noble Quran. So Quran says that their kaid is azim. This is Surah An-Nisa, verse number 76. The noble Quran says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن كيد الشيطان كان ضعيفا. Ever feeble indeed is the plot of shaitan. The plot of shaitan is weak. The plot of shaitan makes a plot. Shaitan makes a plan. Shaitan plans and schemes and connives. Makes plots. However, they're feeble, they're weak. They can be easily beaten. Nonetheless, the women who were around Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, their plans, they're not weak. Not weak, no. They're great in a sense that they are very well thought and they achieve their purpose. They do not fail easily. Let's have a look at the woman around Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam further in the noble Quran. Surah to Yusuf, verse number 33. قال رب السجن أحب إلي مما يدعونني إليه عليه السلام. He said, "O my Lord, prison is dearer to me. I prefer the prison than that to which they invite me. They invite me. So there was not one woman. There were a number of women around Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam who had this deplorable, reprehensible desire from Yusuf alayhi salam. And they were making all these plots. وَإِلَّا تَصْرِفْ عَنِّي كَيْدَهُنَّ أَصْبُ إِلَيْهِنَّ وَأَكُمْ مِنَ الْجَاهِلِينَ. Unless you turn away their plot from me, unless you provide me with the shield of infallibility, with the protection of isma, I will feel inclined towards them and be one of those who commit sin and deserve blame for those blame or those who do deeds of the ignorant. So their plot is so great that even the Nabiullah Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam wants to run away from them into prison. And it's been narrated that when Nabiullah Yusuf alayhi salam was in prison, he wrote on the prison gate or in the prison wall, "As-sijnu qubur al-ahya." Prison, as-sijnu qubur al-ahya. prison is, my apologies, why did I spell it wrong? Prison is graveyard. Prison is graves of the living. You're alive, but you're in a grave. When you're confined in a prison, you are alive, but you might as well be dead. Prison is like being in a grave. So he said that I would rather be in a prison than be with them, than what they are inviting me to. And please save me from their plot. And Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala said in the Noble Quran, فَاسْتَجَابَ لَهُ رَبُّهُ فَصَرَفَ عَنْهُ كَيْدَهُنْ. So his Lord answered his invocation and turned away from him their plot. So Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala defeated their plot. So that is the plot. So who are the women of Egypt? Women of Egypt who were around Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam were evil of utmost grade. And they had very, very reprehensible and base and low, lustful, worldly objectives. Lustful, worldly objectives. And they were plotters. They would deceive. Plotters, deceivers, liars, right? Liars. And they would do what? In order to reach their objective. And then, not only that, they were all part of the power class. They were not women of farmers. They were not women of slaves. No, these women were women of the upper class. They were women of the palace. And their conspiracy could well indeed be described as palace conspiracy. Palace conspiracy, that these women are plotting something to reach their low and worldly objectives. And against whom? Against a very, very pious, God-fearing, godly man who is Yusuf alayhi salam, a prophet of Allah, a ma'soom, an infallible person. Now, let's have a look at the story of our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and Ayesha. And Ayesha is trying to push her father to be sent to lead prayers. Abu Bakr to lead prayers. Of course, Ayesha is saying that I did not try to do that. I tried to do mana. I tried to prohibit, discourage the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam from sending my father to lead prayers. Why? Because I thought it would be, people are superstitious, and out of superstitious they will consider my father evil. Now, the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says that you are like the woman of Egypt. If that was true, if Ayesha's assertion was true, it's true, then the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is being excessive, totally excessive, in describing Ayesha that she is, not only she's like, but rather she is the woman of Egypt around Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. Because women of Egypt had very low worldly desires for a Nabi. And Ayesha here is just being ignorant. Although Umaris claimed that she was a faqihah, she had great faqihah, and she was a great scholar. She knew a lot. She was more knowledgeable than many Sahaba and all that. And Sahaba used to ask for her fatwa on various things. Nonetheless, she is so ignorant that she considers that if somebody prays per the command of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sahaba will consider that person an evil man. So that is not the case. Aisha's case could not be true. Why? Because first of all, there's not a great scheme here. There's not a great plot of deception here to the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Although she is lying, but her objective to save her father from being seen as evil. This is something good. Although that's not true, if Abu Bakr or anybody else, by the command of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, according to the order of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam appointed him to lead prayers, he's going to lead prayers. No Muslim would consider him an evil man. Muslims would consider that something good, something quite good, because if Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam appoints you to lead prayers, that might be good. And unless, except for Umaris, who say that every degenerate can lead prayers. Every degenerate can lead prayers. But according to us Muslims and Shia, that would be good. And they themselves, they take pride, the Umaris take pride that Abu Bakr was appointed by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to lead prayers. Then they forget that every degenerate can lead prayers at any rate. So that's not true. But let's say that she saw it that way. Let's assume that she's not a liar, which we have proved that she's a liar. Let's assume that she was telling the truth. But that's not a big evil worldly desire. And that's not a palace conspiracy. Women around Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam had very evil and low and base, lustful, worldly, objective. To save your father from something of that nature, that is not a, so people saving your father from people seeing him as evil. That is not an evil, low and base and lustful worldly objective. So to accuse Ayesha of this thing, that she is like woman, or she is the woman, she and Hafsa, they are the woman around Yusuf alayhi salam, is severe, very severe, because those women were evil in the Noble Quran. They were very low. And the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says that you are those women who were plotting against Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. You are. This could be only true if there is a dangerous plot, evil plot is going on. Not something innocent, something minor, something trivial. And the reason for that is Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is afsahul fusaha. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam afsahu man nataqa bil-dhat, afsahul fusaha. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was the most eloquent man. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam afsahu man nataqa bil-dhat. Afsahu man nataqa, and this is reportedly a hadith, nataqa bil-dhat. The most eloquent person who spoke Arabic. The most eloquent person who ever spoke Arabic was who? The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, and this hadith has been narrated by Shia and by the non-Shia, that أعطيت جوامع الكلم. أعطيت جوامع الكلم. I, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, have been granted جوامع الكلم, comprehensive words. Comprehensive. Allah has given me comprehensive. It doesn't mean by that the noble Quran. Comprehensive words. It's not. And the scholars of hadith have expounded the meaning of this assertion that he has been given, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, comprehensive word, jawami'ul kalim. As such, the meaning is such that his statements are brief, with very extensive and profound meanings. So the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that I've been given by Allah jawami'ul kalim, that this means what? Is comprehensive words. That the statements are brief, short. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam's statements are usually short as a hadith. His ahadith are not very lengthy. It's one sentence, two sentences, 3 lines. And when he has given khutbah, very few khutbah, very few speeches of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam have reached us. Amongst them is the khutbah of Ghadir. But other than that, his speeches are very short. His words are very short, brief. And that means his statements are brief, but those very short words, those very few words, have great amount of meaning, great amount of connotations and implications and very profound meanings they have. So, and having said that, the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam knows who the women around Yusuf were. Around Yusuf alayhi salam were. He knows them. He knows their character, who they were. He knows what he's talking about. He brought this Quran. So that when the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam says to Ayesha that you are the one who did, you are like the woman around Yusuf, or you are the woman around Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, this itself is a very good dalil, a very good proof that Ayesha is conspiring and lying. Conspiring and lying. Ayesha is conspiring and lying. And that his objective is not something innocent, to save my father from being seen as evil. Because first, a person who prays by the command of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam will not be seen as evil. Will not be seen as evil. And Ayesha could not have known the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is dying, because the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not say, "I will die now from this sickness," unless she poisoned him. And a person who's leading prayers per the command of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam should be respected, not that he should be looked down as evil. Second, because that is not a worldly based objective. What's worldly based objective? That Ayesha is trying to stage a coup. Ayesha knows the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is going to die soon, and the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam cannot lead prayers, and Ayesha is conspiring on her own, not per Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam's instructions, to ask Abu Bakr to lead prayers. And this is exactly what Ibn Abi al-Hadid al-Mu'tazili has narrated in his book in his book, Sharh Nahj al-Balagha. Let's have a look at it. شرح نهج البلاغة لابن أبي الحديد المعتزلي, volume number 9, published at the year 2007 in Dar al-Kutub al-Arabi in Beirut, Lebanon. Page number 131, top of the page. فلما ثقل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم, when Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم became ill, أنفض جيش أسامة, he dispatched the excursion of Usama, وجعل فيه أبا بكر وغيره من أعلام المهاجرين والأنصار, and he assigned Abu Bakr and other people other than Abu Bakr from the prominent members of Muhajirin and Ansar as soldiers, as subjects to Usama. فكان علي عليه السلام حينئذ بوصوله إلى الأمر إن حدث برسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم حدث أو ثق. At that stage, that when Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم sent everyone who might challenge the Khilafah of Amir al-Mu'mineen عليه الصلاة والسلام, everyone who might consider himself a contender of Khilafah, he sent all of the rivals of Amir al-Mu'mineen عليه الصلاة والسلام, who would consider themselves as rivals or contenders of Khilafah, dispatch them and put them under the command of Usama ibn Zayd, who was only 17. And these senior members of Sahaba, they were outraged at this action of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. More about the Jaysh of Usama, the excursion of Usama, inshallah tabaraka wa ta'ala, and the coming lectures. But let's read what Ibn Abi al-Hadid is saying. Okay. فكان علي حينئذ. So Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wassalam, So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam dispatched all senior Sahaba, including Abu Bakr, under the command of Usama. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam at this time was very confident, according to Ibn Abi al-Hadid, that if something should happen to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he will be the successor. وتغلب على ظنه أن المدينة لو مات لخلت من منازع ينازعه الأمر بالكلية. And he was thinking that should Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam pass away, Medina is vacant of anybody who would be his contender. There is nobody in Medina who would challenge his khilafah, because they will be all gone to the battle of the Romans, to Mu'tah. فكان ما كان من عود أبي بكر من جيش أسامة بإرسالها إليه وإعلامه بأن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يموت. So what happened. Abu Bakr came back from the army of Usama. Why? بإرسالها إليه. Because Ayesha sent somebody to her, come back. وإعلامه. And Ayesha informed Abu Bakr that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is going to die, is going to pass away. وَمِنْ حَدِيثِ الصَّلَاةِ بِالنَّاسِ مَا عُرِفْ. And what happened is the hadith of Salah, that Abu Bakr has led prayers. فَنَسَبَ عَلِيٌّ, very important. فَنَسَبَ عَلِيٌّ عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامُ عَائِشَةَ أَنَّهَا أَمَرَتْ بِلَالًا مَوْلَى أَبِيهَا أَنْ يَأْمُرَهُ فَلْيُصَلِّ بِالنَّاسِ. So, Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wassalam ascribed to Ayesha, accused Ayesha that she committed this conspiracy. Her father is where? In the Jaysh of Usama. Her father is in the Jaysh, in the army of Usama, in the camp of Usama outside Medina. And he is very upset that somebody so young, 17-year-old, has become his commander. Ayesha sent somebody to get her father, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is going to die, come back. And she says to Bilal, go, bring Abu Bakr to lead prayers. When Bilal was someone who had been a slave, freed by Abu Bakr. He had been a slave once owned by Abu Bakr. لأن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم كما روي ليصلي بهم أحدهم ولم يعين. Because Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم, as has been narrated, he had said somebody should lead, and he had not mentioned who should lead the prayers. وكانت صلاة الصبح فخرج رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. And it was the time of Salat al-Fajr, and Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم realized that Abu Bakr is leading prayers, so he came back. He could not even walk. Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم, Amir al-Mu'mineen عليه الصلاة والسلام, and Fadl ibn Abbas, they were carrying him, and he went and he removed Abu Bakr from minbar, from his mihrab, and he led the prayers himself. Second paragraph. وكان علي عليه السلام يذكر هذا لأصحابه في خلواته كثيرا. And Amir al-Mu'mineen عليه الصلاة والسلام would mention this matter. He used to mention this matter, that Ayesha sent somebody. Ayesha conspired, Ayesha contrived, Ayesha plotted against Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam, against the will of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Abu Bakr was supposed to be in the camp of Usama. She sent somebody to get him to lead prayers. ويقول إنه لم يقل إنكم لصويحبات يوسف إلا إنكارا لهذا الحال صلى الله عليه وسلم. And Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam would often say that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam did not say that you are companions of Yusuf, except for this conspiracy, that Ayesha led this conspiracy. And at the meantime, Hafsa was trying to push for her father. Hafsa was trying that her father, Omar, should lead prayers, but Ayesha succeeded. So this was Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam would time and again, would repeatedly mention this to his companions, to his close associates, in his private sessions. إلا إنكارا لهذا الحال. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that you are companions of Yusuf, because he was upset that Ayesha brought in her father to lead prayers. وَغَضَبًا مِنْهَا. And because Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was extremely upset. لأنها وحفصة تبارتا إلى تعيين أبويهما. Because Hafsa and Ayesha, they competed against each other. They strived to do what? To appoint each one, trying to appoint her father to lead prayers. وأنه استدركها بخروجه وصرفه عن المحراب. ورسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم then came out and removed Abu Bakr and led the prayers himself. But that did not help. That did not help to defeat the conspiracy, because Abu Bakr never went back to the army of Usama, and then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed, and then the Saqifa Bani Sa'ida happened. And then he mentions all of this that I narrated to you. Ibn Abil Hadid narrates from his teacher, Yusuf ibn Yaqub al-Lam'ani. He says, my teacher told me this. And then he does not disagree with his teacher, so it is also his own assertion. Yusuf ibn Yaqub al-Lam'ani. And then on the next page he says that I asked my teacher, فَقُلْتُ لَهُ رَحِمَهُ اللَّهِ أَفَتَقُولُ أَنْتَ I asked my teacher, أَفَتَقُولُ أَنْتَ إِنَّ عَائِشَةَ عَيَّنَتْ أَبَاهَا لِلصَّلَاةِ وَرَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَآلِهِ وَسَلَّمَ لَمْ يُعَيِّنْهُ. Are you saying that Ayesha appointed her father to lead prayers, and Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم did not appoint him? فقال أما أنا فلا أقول ذلك ولكن عليا عليه السلام كان يقوله. He said, this is not my assertion. Ali alayhi salam, Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam, said this. وَتَكْلِيفُهُ غَيْرُ تَكْلِيفِهِ. And Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam كان حاضرا ولم يكن حاضرا. And Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam was there. I was not there. And Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wasalam saw what I did not see. And he was the closest one to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So very clearly, let's get back. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to Ayesha, companions, that she and Hafsa are companions of Yusuf. This, of course, indicates a plot, deception, conspiracy that Ayesha carried out. Omaris are saying that Ayesha herself is saying, because I said my father is weak, he's going to cry in your place, and I meant that people are going to consider me evil. That's the plot. But that would be very inappropriate for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because there is no similarity in this case between, that's something innocent. That is very innocent. A woman, a daughter trying to save her father from having many enemies. That's innocent. So now Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam could not have done that. Rather, what Ibn Abil Hadith says, what Shia say, what Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam say, that Ayesha tried to push for her father to lead prayers. That is the case, and that is a true plot and deception that's appropriate with the eloquence of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and with the character of a companions of Yusuf, who were plotters and who would lead very, very delicate plots. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطاهرين.